Hey, thank you for joining us for CEM Top 10 on engaging children with incidental teaching. I'm Sally Hansen, the content lead for Classroom Engagement Model in Minnesota and a PDF in Region 11. And this overview of incidental teaching will give you the vocabulary you need to understand the steps, and then be encouraged to attend training on incidental teaching and to look at some of the other PD nuggets and resources on the CEM Top 10 to learn more. So incidental teaching is really the art of teaching. When you think about embedding goals, we often embed goals into predictable times of the day or teacher-directed times of the day. So we can plan to work on a child's requesting during arrival. We can ask them to request which table they want to play at. We can work on requesting at circle time. They can request the instrument they want to play during our music lesson. We can work on that during our small group activity. Maybe they're going to request the color of marker they want to use. So we can plan to add that right into our lesson plan and into our matrix and be ready for it. With child-directed time, we need to be a little more crafty. We want to use incidental teaching to promote learning by setting up the environment with interesting materials. We know that interest leads to engagement. And so we need to know what is it that children are interested in, especially if there's a child with a target goal that we want to be sure we have the opportunity to work on during our center time. Then we're going to watch for those teachable moments. The difference between a teachable moment and incidental teaching is some intentionality. So if we're at the sensory table and a number of children are playing with the water, and there's different colored buckets and there's different sized containers. And we take advantage of a teachable moment by asking them which one is largest, which one is smallest. That would be natural in the moment. We're asking them to pass us the largest bucket or to see if the smallest one will fit in the medium sized bucket. And that's a teachable moment. And teachers are really good at this, teacher assistants and paraprofessionals, capitalizing on what's teachable right along in those learning opportunities. The thing that might be slightly different in an incidental teaching episode is that we're matching that teachable moment to the child's specific goals. So if I happen to know that Louise already knows all the colors and is very well versed in sizes, it really isn't a great teachable moment to ask her to pass me the blue spoon because she's known blue for a really long time. And so it's not hurting anything, but it's not really tailored to her specific learning needs. Maybe she's reached a point where she's working on patterning. And so I'm going to ask her to create a pattern with the colored buckets and see if she can create the next step. That's more intentionally based on her learning goals. And so in order to do really good incidental teaching, we need to know what children are working on. Sometimes what children are working on is just engaging in the materials. And so we're looking for engagement that's longer than they normally would, sticking with something for a longer period of time. Maybe we're looking for more sophisticated engagement where they're using the material in a new and creative way. Other times we're really working on a specific goal, something out of their IEP, something from their ongoing assessment data, and all of those things will really vary child to child, class to class. There's an article on the Share site written by Dr. Robin McWilliams about incidental teaching, and this graphic gives you a snapshot of how incidental teaching works. We engage the child or we deepen their engagement, we look for their response, and then we elicit a little bit more learning. We prompt so that they get to longer engagement, more sophisticated, or a more specific goal. And there are some opportunities for us to think about where are they developmentally, what does differentiated learning look like for that child, and then how do we help them generalize the skill. So if you need to dig deeper into those different steps, I would encourage you to read through that article, attend CEM training, talk with your coach. Just one quick example of how we might set up our classroom to elicit a skill. We might say, for example, we have a child who has a speech language goal of requesting. Maybe they're less verbal than their peers, and so we're working on that. Perhaps it's someone who's learning English, and so we're helping them to learn to request. And so we might set up our classroom by withholding access to something we know they'll want. So let's say, for example, I know that Mia is going to want to play with the babies. Maybe what I do is I take the bottle and I put it up where she can't reach it, so that when we get over to dramatic play and she has her baby, I say, oh, your baby looks hungry. That's the talk up. And I say, I wonder what she needs. And if Mia then points at the bottle or points at the baby like she needs a bottle, I might say, does she need a bottle? What do you want to get? Repeating that prompt, going to an easier prompt if we need to. But then if in any way she says, bah, or points and signals bottle, then I'm going to give her that access and provide her with that praise. And all of those things can be talked about with our specialists. I might need to talk to my speech language pathologist and find out what are the prompts you'd like me to use, what would be sufficient for her when she does give me some of that utterance so that I can give her access. I might even invite my speech language pathologist to come and model this for me. So this is a piece of teaming and collaboration that we can use. But incidental teaching can happen throughout the day on a variety of different goals and different engagement strategies. So thanks for tuning in for this short overview of incidental teaching. And we look forward to seeing you in another CEM Top 10 video.